since the beginning of this Trump shooting, a lot of us have been asking, how did he get to the roof in the first place? Well, we now have a solid answer and details on how he was able to accomplish that. Even with people in the crowd that were outside the perimeter, outside the gates, screaming, hey, he's got a gun, he's on the roof. We now know exactly how he got up there. We also have new body cam footage, and there is one thing that will piece all of this together, and I think that a lot of people will get a better understanding as to how this entire situation unfolded. And it is, again, just like everything I've talked about in this entire saga, it's disturbing. It is crazy to think the breakdown here, but I'm going to fill you in on everything that we've learned from these congressional hearings and more. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. And of course, I want to hear your opinion after the video. Let me know what you think. Let's go and get into it. So how did the shooter get up to the roof? Well, he used utilities on the outside, whether that was AC unit, piping, to get up there. But, one thing that we found out is there was Butler County snipers in a second-story window overlooking the roof. The same roof that he climbed up on. So the first thing that pops in my head is, okay, why wouldn't you take the shot? Because it's clear as day. You want to talk about a clear line of sight. They have a perfect line of sight right there that you wouldn't even need a rifle to take this dude out with, because not only are they super close, but there is nothing keeping them from actually seeing the top of that roof. Well, one thing that we've heard all along is that there was, two officers, one hoisted the other up to, identify who this guy was on the roof. Apparently he was up there for about 3 minutes total. And then that officer ended up falling. And that was just seconds before the first shot rang out. But irregardless of that, what about the two snipers that were in the window? So those two Butler County snipers left their post along with other local PD that were looking for the same guy. Now, where those snipers actually were in the windows they were in, it still gave them a vantage point in which they could have seen the shooter. Still not the ideal vantage point by any stretch of the imagination. Still doesn't answer the question as to why they just weren't up on the roof, because there are obviously blind spots when you're looking at that building and the windows that any of those windows that they could have been looking out of that were facing towards the podium. They still had restrictions in their line of sight, whether it came from the right, left, or whatever, but they were still able to see the top of that roof. But the biggest question is, why would they leave their post when other local officers are looking for the same guy? Or why doesn't one stay? Well, to kind of clear that up, we see this new body cam footage. And there's a couple of things that are really interesting here. First of all, somebody was questioning the position of the gun to the shooter's, incapacitated body. Well, they were like, there's no way that he could have thrown his gun over there, and it's too far away from his body. Who's covering this up or something like that? Well, it's standard practice for any law enforcement when they come across a suspect with a gun, incapacitated or not, they're going to move that gun away from his body. That's one of the first things that they're going to do. So that's what I'm going to assume happened. I didn't see any kind of video to confirm that, but that's very standard practice. But the other thing you see is between one of the counter snipers and one of the Secret Service guys. And he's like, hey, I got these pictures. I don't know if they're the same pictures you got.
Okay.
He's the one that sent the pictures out. I don't know if you got the same ones I did.
I think I did, yeah. He's got his glasses on and he's...
So we had the picture of that.
I got that.
We know that 25 minutes prior to Trump speaking, that picture was taken from local PD that was sent to another officer that was stationed inside the command post where Secret Service was. Secret Service told that officer then to text to that picture to another number who was Secret Service as well. They had the information. They knew somebody was suspicious, and yet they still let Trump just walk out like everything was okay. I don't know who told those snipers, those ESU snipers, to leave their post. I don't know if they just decided they were going to do that, or if they were told to do that. But either way, you got to think, man, there's two of them. Why do both of them need to go out? If the communication was better, they would have known, right, that, hey, there's local PD down there as well. Both of us probably don't need to go. So yeah, sending pictures and being able to identify that way is way better than, you know, just an actual physical description, right? Because you can get things wrong there. But having somebody on a walkie, hey, we have a suspicious person here. You may want to, you know, pass this on to their superior. Their superior gets the Secret Service. Okay, Secret Service gets to the Trump team, and they tell them, okay, let's hold off for 5 minutes. We have a person of interest we need to check out. None of that happened. We know that Secret Service had those pictures 25 minutes in advance of Trump actually walking out. Why they didn't take those extra just couple of minutes to make sure that, you know, this guy was either talked to or something is beyond me. There was 2 other suspects too, and that's something you hear in the body cam footage.
Okay.
But he would be right inside that window. He's the one that physically seen this, sent the pictures, and called it out.
Okay, so, and we have somebody detained, correct? I talked to the guy. They were those people detained were filming. Maybe they were involved. Maybe they weren't.
Now, obviously, they didn't have anything to do with it. They were taking pictures and whatnot, and they eventually let them go. But, you know, really, you had 3 suspicious people or 3 persons of interest that they should have looked at well before this all went down the way it did. The breakdown in communication to me is absolutely insane, and they just got really lax. You know, if you want to look at it like that, they just got really lax in their communication. Even with people right there yelling at them, hey, there's a guy on the roof with a gun. They still let all of this go down and let Trump walk out.
We have people that should not be here.
Right on the roof.
It's much tougher than it happens.
He went right on the roof.
These horrifying moments and says he was stunned by how close he got to former President Trump without ever having to go through security. In his video, people are screaming, ducking for cover as they try to alert police that Crooks is on the roof with a gun.
The failure is way worse than what any of us thought, because communication these days is so much better. There's not only so many different ways to communicate, but it's so far superior than what they had in 1981, or, you know, any time that a president has been attacked like this, or, you know, these attempts on presidents' lives. So we've never had a better time and more ways to communicate. But a simple walkie could have maybe stopped all of this, and that's just my opinion. I think it is a incredible breakdown of communication here, and of course, this again falls all on the Secret Service. Why those 2 guys left their post, I don't know if they were ordered to do that or they made that decision, but again, if that communication chain was better between all of them, we may not be talking about this at all. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. Again, if you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.